Welcome back to the 3994. I'm Jodie O'Brien. This is our fifth episode, and today we're talking to the Andrew County Ambulance District Administrator, Blake Rudel. The issue at hand, 911 dispatching services in Andrew County. There's a concern from county commissioners that costs may prevent them from continuing to cover dispatch. I'd like to give a shout out today to our newest sponsors, North Central Missouri College and United Fiber. We appreciate their support along with our other sponsors, Sweet Storage, The Bunker Club, Greater Than Financial, Gina's Cafe, and Jason Sarsney of Edward Jones. If you would like to be featured as a sponsor, a community supporter, or a Patreon, be sure to follow the link in the show notes and continue showing your support by sharing this episode, pushing the like button, or leaving a comment. Now, enjoy the show. Blake, how long have you been with the ambulance district?
I've been here almost 13 years as the administrator.
I love that every time someone drives by, you're like, hey, how's it going, buddy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about you. I don't know a lot about you, Blake, but
Okay.
Leadership Savannah came and visited the ambulance barn and you gave us a tour. We got to see inside the ambulances.
Right.
But tell us a little bit about your story. Are you from here, and what makes you stay?
So I grew up. Well, I've grown up lots of places, but mainly on the east side of the state, south of St. Louis. That's where I met my wife and had my kids. And then when our kids were right in middle school and just starting ready to go to high school, we said once we start high school, we're not going to be able to go anyplace else. And so what we decided was, okay, we're going to start looking around. And I looked around I was a supervisor and I was this. So I said, hey, I want to try to run a service.
Were you doing ambulance stuff?
I was still an ambulance. I was a paramedic, and I was, like I said, supervisor. But I decided I wanted to be in that top job. I said to myself that I love taking care of my patients, but instead of taking care of one patient at a time, I wanted to take care of a multitude of patients, and that's why I wanted to be in charge of an ambulance. The day we pulled into Savannah
How'd you choose Savannah? Would you just
It was an open position. Actually, the position was already, the deadline was closed.
Yeah.
And my wife said, well, I think you might have missed this one. And I just sent an email to the board of directors and said, hey, I'm interested. And they interviewed me and hired me within the next couple days.
Wow.
So the day why do I stay and why have I been doing this for 13 years? Savannah has a way of grabbing you. And as I always tell the story, the day we moved in with the U-Haul was a Friday, and it happened to be homecoming day. And somebody said, hey, you guys got to go down the main street and watch the parade. And I saw the high school football guys on the fire truck and the cheerleaders on the motorcycles. And it was just like, this is home. From day one, it was home. And that's, it's never been any different. It's just been home since I've been here. So have I been here forever? No, I've been here 13 years. Have I raised my kids here now? Absolutely have. My granddaughter's here now, and I got another one on the way. And it's just a great community, and I love being here.
It sounds like you've really been welcomed with open arms and then just taken care of and loved by the community. Do you have any stories like that where you can point to people who've really made an impact on your life here, or a circumstance that really brought it home for you?
When there was a time a couple of years ago that my daughter was going through a lot of personal problems, and I had to be gone almost 2 months. And when I called the board, I was kind of like, well, and they said, you don't worry about it, you don't think about it, you just do that. When I finally came back, people were just so loving and respectful and talking to me and helping me, and organizations donated stuff because I ended up taking care of my granddaughter for a while. So there were organizations that were donating stuff to help us. And I remember saying, I feel like George Bailey from It's a Wonderful Life at the end of the movie when everybody was giving stuff, and it's just, yeah, it's amazing how they touch you and you become a part of it. And you become family with them, and I really like that.
That's amazing.
My wife and I are getting to that age where the kids are starting to. I have 3 kids getting married next year, so that's going to be most of everybody just cleared out all at once and leave me with one, and we're really getting to just appreciate sitting and doing nothing sometimes and just vegging out, watching television, and enjoying being with each other and talking.
How long have you guys been married?
Right about 26 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Where did you all meet?
We actually met when she did ride-alongs. She was an EMT student and did ride-alongs when I was a paramedic at my old job. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love at first sight?
Pretty close. Pretty close. We met in October. We started dating in November. We got engaged in January. We're married in May.
Wow.
So.
All these years later.
And it's just, I never questioned it, never looked back.
Oh.
It's work. But you know what? As long as you're willing to work and both of you are willing to work, that's the secret. I always ask people every time I see somebody, because I meet a lot of people, 50, 60, 70 years old, it's like, what's the secret? It's work, but it's worth it.
Yeah, people don't realize, you work to get that wedding done and make that wedding pretty, but the real work comes on the other side of that wedding.
Yep.
Make it last. I love that.
Yeah, just be patient and know that you have to give some, and you're going to get some. Mm-hmm. So try to give more than you get, and if you both try to give more than you get, I think it'll work out.
That's great advice. Well, good luck planning those weddings and paying for them. Good Lord, 3 weddings this year.
My kids had to basically scrounge like I did.
That's right. It's good lessons.
Yeah, I think so.
Good life lessons.
I think it's good for them.
Okay, so what we're talking about today is the 911 services for the county. So as I understand it, and I've got a lot to learn here, as I understand it, right now the county commissioners are saying, this is a model that's outdated. We can't afford it for several county entities, including the ambulance district. Is that correct? Is that kind of how you see it right now?
I would say the whole system isn't as updated as it should be as far as how the counties work. But I would say it's the same as probably about half of what the state of Missouri is. And that's just a guess off the top of my head. But it is done in a lot of communities.
Okay, so what is the system? How is it set up right now?
So right now, all 911 calls that are at least landline and any cell phones that are in the cell phone towers come to the sheriff's department. They take the call, they put the information into their computer-aided dispatch system, and then they dispatch fire, police, and ambulance from the sheriff's office here in Savannah.
Okay. And then for other departments, like Fillmore, for instance, the Fillmore Fire Department, does that operate the same way, or is that different?
So it's exactly the same. The calls will still come in, they'll go to them, and then they will page out over the pagers for Fillmore to respond, and then Fillmore will respond.
Okay, so the system works. Nobody wants the system to change necessarily because it's a good system, it's working, but it's costly for the county. Is that how I understand it?
It's costly for the county commission, yes. And the county itself is the one that foots the majority of the bill right now.
Okay. And do you have any idea tax-wise, like how much do we pay for a service like that?
Yeah, the problem with the dispatch service right now is it is lumped in with the sheriff's department, and then the sheriff's department is lumped in with all of the other county services like roads and different things that are provided. So it's very tough to just pick out and say dispatch costs this much or this percentage of your tax money goes to dispatch. It's very hard to do that.
Okay, so maybe that's a little bit of where we're at. We don't really actually know how much this is costing the county aside from other services that we're all paying for. It's kind of a little muddied waters, is that right?
Correct. We've gotten some breakdowns of what their expenses as far as dispatch is concerned, but it doesn't show where that fits into the grand picture of the county.
Okay.
There's no way, we've not seen anything like that. And it would take a lot of work, truthfully, because even the county kind of just has so many pots, and most of it seems to fall under the sheriff's department. So then we'd have to break it down to there and see how much is dispatch, how much is road staff, how much is jail, how much is the food service at the jail, all those different things.
How many dispatchers right now are there, do you know?
I believe there's 7, I believe.
And does the system work pretty well as it stands? Like calls are getting out, You guys are
Calls
responding.
come in, calls go out. We do not have emergency medical dispatch like some services do, where actual instructions can be given over the phone to help the citizens when they call. We're not really at that point in this community right now.
Is that something that you would like to see happen?
Oh, definitely.
And why is
It,
that?
it's immediate service. We've got a great system where when the call comes out, the fire departments are also sent on a lot of calls, which is great. Our first responder community is just awesome. But there's still that 3-4 minutes sometimes before even the first responders can get there. And sometimes there's things you can do like positioning the patient, providing CPR, maybe giving aspirin, different things like that that you can do even before the first responders get there. That can make a big difference on the patient's long-term health.
Sounds like that would be a really great system to have in place, and maybe that's something down the future that would be amazing.
Correct.
Right now we're dealing with,
Where we're at now.
where we're at, what's
Right.
the topic at hand, and it sounds like you guys have to come to some sort of an agreement on moving forward how this is going to work, how the county can continue to afford the services, how our tax dollars are going to continue to benefit something like this,
Right.
while also fitting the bill. Do you have any idea what changed from like last year to this year?
Absolutely not. And I've asked for that, and I've not been given that. One of the first questions I had was, show me what's changed over the last so many years to how much the increase is. I do know that they have paid dispatchers more. They've had to up those prices. But beyond that, I don't have any clue because we've not been provided that. I would like to say that the county commission had a meeting right at the beginning in April, I believe it was, and it was them and all the entities, and they said, hey, it's time, we've got to do something different. And the entities said, well, if you raise our taxes, if you raise our money that we're paying to you, because right now the ambulance district is the only service that pays anything to dispatch. None of the other cities, none of the other fire departments, nobody else does. And because a lot of people believe that they're already paying tax money to the county and that is supposed to cover that. So that's where the problem is. And these smaller departments are so tight on their budgets anyway. So when we did meet, people were like, well, where are we supposed to get the money from? Eventually what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to find more money, raise taxes on our own. And when several departments said that, we said, okay, there is another option. And that option is a county-wide tax that would create a dispatch center that would be separate from the sheriff's department, would be separate from the county commission, separate from, it wouldn't belong to anybody, it would belong to the entire county. It'd be run by a board, just like the county is. And then none of the entities would have to pay any extra, because right now what we're looking at is eventually, let's say Fillmore can't pay for their dispatch anymore. They're going to have to go to their citizens in just that little tax area and say, hey, we got to raise our money because we can't pay for this dispatch anymore. And so we figured instead of each entity doing that, let's just do across the board, get everybody together, say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is where you will know where 100% of your money is going to go, because it's only going to be dispatch. So it's got nothing to do with anything else. And then everybody wins. We have met a lot of the frustration right now with all the entities is the county commission just does not seem like they want to put that even on the ballot to let the people even decide. And that's really what we're asking, is let the people decide. The problem is right now the ambulance district pays $25,000 is what we pay a year. The county commission, the estimates they gave us were about $40,000. So there's that. I mean, that's a big increase. That's another $15,000. So with my due diligence and what my fear is, I looked at other places that do dispatch besides just our county, and I can get that full EMD service that we talked about earlier for about the same price I'm paying to the county now by going somewhere else. And what I'm afraid of is the ambulance district is going to be dispatched out of this county, and then the police are going to go find their due diligence, because now they're going from 0 to $75,000 a year. But yet if they can get it for $40,000 over here, then we're going to have the ambulance dispatched from this place. We're going to have the police dispatched from this place. We're going to have maybe a fire department dispatched from this place. We might have 6 different entities dispatch, and then they're still going to have to answer the calls in Andrew County, and they're still going to be pushing this to all these different places. What we want to do is just put it on the ballot to say, hey, can we keep it all local? Nobody loses their jobs. We don't have to go out, and all these services save their money, and even the county would actually save the money that they're paying now for that. So that's really what we're trying to get across and look at.
Is that how the other agencies, is this a consensus right now on how kind of maybe everybody's feeling? Like
I can only speak for me, but yes, I've sat in several meetings and that was initially what we did with that first meeting, and then we had a second meeting. Nobody could really move on anything, and I said, hey, let's start a committee to see if this is even feasible.
Yeah.
It's feasible. We know it's feasible. Would it take some work? Yes. Is it going to be convincing people that, hey, we really need to keep this local. We really want to keep this. But then we'd also, with it being local and with the money that we're looking at, we're going to add that EMD also here. So we don't have to leave. We don't have to go to another county to get that EMD. We'd have it right here where it should be. And then we're going to have our local dispatchers that know, if a dispatch center 2 hours away has this, they're not going to know where Fred's barn burned down 6 years ago. Our dispatchers are going to know that kind of thing, and they're going to help us get to those calls quicker. Is that worth, can I give up $15,000 and no EMD? No, I probably can't. I've got to, at that point in time, go somewhere else. Do I want to? Absolutely not. I've been one of the biggest proponents and probably one of the loudest spokespersons for let's do this and let's try to keep it local. And I think if you present it to the people in that way and say, hey, this takes all the control and puts it in the hands of the dispatch board, then you know where your money's going. And then we don't have to worry about whether it's a part of the sheriff or a part of the jail, which I've heard so much about. I wasn't here when the jail was put in, but that's all I hear about. Politics. Let's take it all away. Let's just put it under one separate thing that maintains itself.
I mean, politics does play a huge role in stuff like this.
It does.
And even talking to the commissioners, we understand, of course, that they have a role to play, that they have concerns. It sounds like this morning there's going to be a meeting and the heads will all come together again, and you guys will put your heads together and talk again and try to figure something out on this issue. I guess for average taxpayers, how can you educate us as to what's going on? Because sitting back, we think, well, we pay our taxes. This is where the money's going. If we have an issue, we know we're going to call 911. They're going to pick up, and we're going to get services. What is the concern if you guys cannot come to an agreement by the end of the year?
I think, like I said, my big fear is multiple services being dispatched by multiple places.
Because that's a business, right? People make money off.
They do, yes.
Supplying 911 services.
Yes, they do. And ultimately, the state of Missouri would like to consolidate more of these into one place. And we have the technology and the capabilities to do that. And my only fear is if the whole county went as a group to one place, okay, I think that might be a good way to do it. But unfortunately, I don't know if that's the way it's going to be, because each entity has to bid it out. Each entity has to make that decision on their own. It's not a group. The ambulance is going to choose what's going to work best for the ambulance. The police are going to choose what's best for the police. And my fear is, okay, if we need to holler to get a police officer on our scene, who are we going to yell at? Are we going to be yelling? Who knows? And that's really what my concern is. And that's why I'm pushing so hard to keep it together. I could have better service tomorrow for the same price, but I don't, because I want to keep us all together if possible. And that's why I've fought this as long as I can, or been a part of it as long as I can. Let's try to keep it together if we possibly can. But all entities can't just start paying as much money as the county currently wants us to pay, I don't think.
So this has probably been a little bit of a stress on you, I can imagine, going through this. Tell me about your staff. How many do you have on staff? Are they full-time, part-time?
I have full-time staff and part-time. I have 11 full-time staff, including myself, and then we have about 20 to 25 part-time staff that come in and fill the roles of paramedic to keep 2 ambulances on the streets 24 hours a day.
Tell me about the resources that you guys have here. What are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? I'm most proud of that we are a quote small service, but our equipment, our ambulances, our stretchers, our monitors are as up to date as a big city. We run about 1,800 calls a year. I came from a service that ran about 20,000 calls a year, and our equipment is just as good as their equipment. Our staff are just as well trained, and I'm proud that the staff come in and really put their time and effort into making it a service and to be part of this small community. We love it. I keep people here just because of Savannah and doing the homecoming parade and doing homecoming football games and Friday night football games. We are just so embedded in being part of the community of Savannah and all of Andrew County, but we're based out of Savannah, so this kind of feels like home too.
Yeah, for sure. What do you still need as a department? If you had a wish list right now that you could use 3 items besides the dispatch thing being taken care of,
Yeah.
what would be those items on your list, your wish list? What do you want for Christmas?
I think we really would like to have, someday we're going to have to figure out a new facility. This one's been here 30 plus years, and it's time to really, there's bigger ambulances out there that we could buy, but we really can't because our building won't really fit them in here. We wouldn't be able to walk around them because they're bigger ambulances. So I would like to see that, and really that's about it. Our equipment wise and everything is really top notch, and I'm very happy with everything, and I love the place that we're at right here. My druthers would be to put a temporary building up and then tear this one down and put a nice facility right here on top of it, because it's just great. As you can see looking around, we got trees, it's quiet, and it's just a nice place to be.
Thank you so much for today.
Thank you for reaching out.
That's a wrap on this episode of the 3994. We appreciate you watching. I want to give a shout out to a couple new sponsors, United Fiber and North Central Missouri College. I can't tell you what your support means to me. I also want to say thank you to Greater Than Financial, Edward Jones, Jason Sarsney, Gina's Cafe, the Bunker Club, Sweet Storage. We're so grateful to have the support of people in our community, and we couldn't do this without having their support. If you're interested in tuning into the next episode, it'll be next Thursday. We're going to talk to Katie Graham, who's the chamber director. She's going to be talking about the Fall Fest, which is coming up later this month. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a Patreon, you can follow the show notes down below, and then also subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment. All of those things help us in getting the word out about this podcast and the good stories that we're trying to tell around Savannah and in Andrew County. Until next time.